pastures. This has really been on my mind. Jesus said in John 10:9, he said, I am the gate or the door. He who enters through me will be saved, and he will go in and go out and find pasture. Jesus came to give us life, life to the full. That's the very next verse. The very next verse is also the one that tells us that the devil is a thief, and he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And the devil wants to steal the joy and the pasture moments and the pasture spirit, the pasture truth that Jesus gives you. Remember, when Jesus taught us to pray, Matthew 6:9-13, he taught us to pray, calling on God to bring the will of God, the kingdom of heaven, as it is in heaven, here to earth. Jesus came to give us a deep peace. Now, it is a peace of a different kind. John 14:27. It's not as the world gives. So, although in the mix of God's blessing, I think of Mark 10:30, verse 30, Jesus is saying that those of us who have left and sacrificed for the gospel will receive 100-fold as much here with persecutions. But then in the coming age, eternal life. So there is something about following Jesus that is peace of a different kind. That's why Paul said in Philippians 4:11, he says, I have learned the secret of being content in all situations, with plenty and with little. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now listen, here's my point. You can even do pastures, peace, prosperity from God through Christ who strengthens you. There will be times in your life when God brings you into pasture. He brings you into prosperity. And it is not a spiritual thing to balk at God's prosperity any more than it is a spiritual thing to reject God's tests of faith through suffering. God is the God of abundance, and he gives talents. I think of Luke 19. He gave one person 1 talent, 1 2, 1 5. The dude with 1 talent got all super spiritual and philosophical, and he would not take this wealth of God and invest it and grow and prosper. And God was not happy about this. There is a time God will give you prosperity and pasture when you go through the gate of Jesus Christ. And we are to do all things through Christ who strengthens us. We are to do the hard times through Christ, and we are to do the pasture and the prosperity through Christ. We are to sanctify it with thanksgiving. We are to receive it with joy. All good gifts come from God, James 1:17. And we are to agree with God, Job 22:21, and be at peace. We are to let his abundance and his pasture flow over us. Reject the lies of the enemy. Remember, it was Judas who got all perturbed at the abundance and the extravagance of the perfume sacrifice over Jesus. In Mark 14:1-11, when the woman broke her alabaster jar of perfume worth a year's wages. Jesus did not balk at this extravagance and heavenly aroma, an outpouring of wealth. Jesus had no issue with this. Judas got all humanitarian, got all, we should have sold this and given it to the poor, but that was not the report of the Lord. There was a moment there where God was pouring out a pasture experience on Jesus Christ, and it was to be enjoyed. All things through Christ who gives me strength. So I want to speak to, don't let the enemy steal the joy or the pasture moments that God gives you. Even though we live in a scorched land, Isaiah 58:11, sometimes God will bless you by satisfying your desires in a scorched land, in a broken world. God will move to you and give you pasture moments. Breathe. Let God bless you there. Receive it with thanksgiving. Let God's report be truer than the report of this broken earth and the injustices of this earth around you. Receive through Christ his pasture moments. God bless you.